Hello and welcome to the Cold Coffee Club, a podcast brought to you by Houston Moms. We're here to give you a little bit of that mom-to-mom connection, fun, and conversation amidst all the chaos. Join us as we take a break from doing all the things and explore the wide spectrum of this crazy motherhood role. We'll interview fun guests, talk about cool grown-up topics, laugh, share, and grow together. So go ahead, reheat that coffee, and put your feet up. Here we go.
All right, Cold Coffee Club. So we have all three of us for the first time since we announced that we are going to have three of us. We have been talking about it, and I'm like, okay, Bri's not here today, but she's coming. Just hang in there. So Bri is with us. So excited. So now it is the complete trio of the Cold Coffee Club. So excited to do this episode with y'all. So welcome, Bri. Thank you for finally making it.
Hey.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. So today we're going to talk about money matters and how we relate to our kids as far as money goes. So we're going to talk about, how we introduce money to them, how we explain money, the value of things, the fact that we all work. So explaining to them hey, no, I can't we're not going to Chuck E. Cheese every other day because it costs money and I work a lot to make that happen for you. So we're going to talk about that. But before we do, of course, we're going to spill some tea. So Tiffany, go ahead and start us off with your win and fail for this week.
All right, the win. So I was trying to choose between a couple of wins, but for those who are listening to this, it's less than a week after the tornado that hit Houston, specifically the inner parts of Houston. I live in the Heights, and we made it. We were driving through it when it happened. We were driving from the Galleria area from my kids' school, and we just are driving into it, and the sky was black, and the sky can get black here in Houston, as we all know, but it felt different. And when it hit, we were driving in it, and I was like, this is different. And so as I'm driving down Yale Street towards my home, it was clear that a tornado had hit our area. I'm from the Midwest, you guys. I have never seen anything like this, even having lived in the Midwest for almost 20 years. So I'm just thankful and happy that, my kids were with me. They were so encouraging. My son was being the weather commentator and the safety person from the back. And my daughter was just encouraging, Mom, you can do it. Because there was literally parts of the drive where I was like, I don't know what's going to happen, you guys. Yeah. I'm on the phone with my husband, and it was just I don't know what's going to happen. So the great news is that we just powered through as a family. So in moments like that, you just are so thankful for your family and how we all just know how to give each other encouragement and support in those moments. So that is my huge win for this week.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. The kids got a free night at a hotel out of it, which was not part of the plan. They got to miss their homework assignment that we were going to do that night. But thankfully our house doesn't have any damage. We did lose power for a little bit, but just thoughts and hearts and minds and prayers to our family, our neighbors, around the area that did get quite a bit of damage to their homes and everything. So the loss is actually very superficial, or
I mean, most of our fails are,
very actually superficial. I was like, but it is legitimately a fail for me because I have recognized, so with my new job, I have to at least put a real shirt on, not a t-shirt. And so that requires real bras, ladies.
Yeah. Yep.
So I don't have many of those. As I am finding out, I have a lot of really great panties. I'm a huge panties person. I don't like bras as much anymore. Mm-hmm. So I don't have a lot. And I think they're all dirty. Maybe that's also part of it, but.
Because they're a pain to wash.
They're a pain to wash.
Yeah.
And so if I have 4 or 5 and they're all dirty, guess what? I don't have one for every day.
Yeah.
Because I don't wash them every week even. So I am rifling through my drawers, even last week, because Soma had a sale which I just now looked. Everything's now full price. So they had a sale. I was supposed to get it last week, but guess what happened last week? But yeah, my fail is that I need bras, y'all. I need to get them like today or tomorrow because
you wear a different bra every day.
No, I don't. But I mean, once I have, like, I'm wearing, like, you can't even see it, but I'm like, I have those kind of like sports bra-y kind of things and those kind of comfy things. But when you're wearing kind of like an actual blouse. Yeah, like an actual blouse, then you really can't wear something like that. Yeah. I wore a bra yesterday that I hadn't worn in like forever because I just never needed to.
I love that. I have one bra and I need more, but I just have one and I wash it maybe every like 3 months. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like it's bad. It's real bad.
And it was so funny because my sister was visiting maybe like this time last year, and she was like, "Are you gonna like get some more bras?" I was like, "For what?"
Yeah.
It's like I don't wear bras.
Yeah. And they're expensive for no reason. They're expensive, they're uncomfortable, and like I feel like every other year I need to like get refitted. I need to get like refitted and like I'm like I don't think anything's changed, but all of a sudden all my bras don't fit right, and I'm like, what happened? I have 3 bras that I rotate through, and I wash them every like 2 weeks. Like I'll wear one for like a few days to a week-ish and then switch. And
okay, I don't feel so bad because I'm like, am I the only person who just like has like a couple of bras?
Listen, I feel like in your 30s you're supposed to have like matching bra and underwear sets, and I'm like, I still haven't gotten around to that. Like, is that still a thing?
After kids, I gave up because my boobs went to shit. Sorry.
Yeah.
But they just went to like the depths of nowhere. And I wasn't very interested at that point in feeling sexy in a bra. I wanted to feel very comfortable in a bra. So there was no more sexy.
When they're like Play-Doh and you have to like I got a breast reduction. I got a breast reduction, but mine used to be that way where I'd have to like kind of fold it up and put it in the bra.
And by the way, I've said this in an article, I had great breasts. So I love
I did too.
I had really perky ones. They were perfect.
They were the perfect shape. They were beautiful.
Yes, they were beautiful.
The breast reduction, they're like totally screwed up. Like
really,
nipples look weird. Oh yeah, no, like I've learned that like plastic surgery is like a scam. Like I swear, like I did it, and like first of all, I remember after the surgery, I was like, I think I have pneumonia, and the guy was like, yeah, that's normal after a major chest surgery. And I was like, you acted like this was no big deal. I still have like intense pain. Like I got a massage yesterday. It's been 2 years. I got a massage yesterday, and the guy was like, your whole like neck and chest area is so tight, and it's from the surgery.
Oh wow.
And then after the surgery for the reduction, they were like, yeah, you can get another plastic surgery to like make them look pretty. And I'm like,
yeah.
Oh gosh.
Why would I do that to myself?
You know what? I went to get a lift. I wanted a lift because again, what I tell you, they were, I was devastated. Yeah. And that's what she was talking about. She was like implants and things like that. And my husband went with me and he was like, I'm not good with this.
Yeah. I thought about it. There was a window where I was very serious about getting a lift and getting implants. And I was like, well, first of all, I could justify it in my head. Like my kids don't have a college fund, but I'm buying better boobs.
Yeah.
So I was like, I feel like a bad mom. Yeah. I don't feel like a great mom right now. And I was like, I'm just going to invest in good bras that make me feel happy. Like my bras are good. I have 3 of them that are great. But then, when you take them off, you're like, oh, there it is.
Where do you go to get yours? Because like I go to Soma and
I go to Soma.
Listen, Amazon, I
covered my entire boob at Soma. Soma, like, I'm like, I want the cute ones, and they're like, oh, no, how about this like grandma one? And then you can even wear like a V-neck because it's just like they're like covering. Mine aren't even that big anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
they're C. I don't
Yeah.
actually know what's that. And then I go to Victoria's Secrets, and like every time, it depends on who's measuring me. I'm always like a different size.
Yeah. No.
Victoria's Secrets was my 20s and 30s. I haven't had a Victoria's Secrets bra in like 10 plus years. I promise you.
No, I found good bras on Amazon, and they squeeze and lift and push. Like, listen. I will look. I need to figure out where they are, but yes, I ordered some good ones. I will put those in the show notes for you, y'all listening who are looking for good bras. I will find you some that work for me, and they make me feel like I have my old boobs again. And you know, and then it hurts your feelings a little bit when you take it off, and you're like, oh.
I tell you what, though, guys,
JK.
like it's crazy how like all the like plastic surgery, and you know, like I understand why people get it done. I totally get it. But like I'm like you, where I'm like, my kids don't have college fund, but I'm like, do I need a Brazilian butler?
Yeah. Just gonna keep hitting the gym and see what comes out.
See, for me, I'm just gonna keep eating ice cream and see like.
It always goes to the wrong spot. I tried that. It's like, why is it all in my stomach? Like, what? You couldn't shift it around? Lord. All right, Bri, what is your tea for this week?
I also endured the tornado. I actually grew up in Tornado Alley, so it wasn't the only reason why it was like scary for me. Honestly, it was because it was just me and the boys, and I had the boys. I'm actually really glad I had the boys because I knew exactly what to do.
Yeah.
So you know, it was funny though, because the boys, I guess, have been like, my youngest has been learning about like weather at school, and so he asked, like, first of all, we are very concerned about lava in this family.
Of course. As you should be.
Yes. You know, it'll be like, I'm like trying to get him to bed, and he's like, Mama, I just don't want our house to get caught in lava. And I'm like, I'm like 98% sure there's not a volcano anywhere close to here. Oh my gosh. So, you know, they've asked, like, what do we do if there's a hurricane? What do we do if there's a tornado? So we always talk about it and everything. And so, you know, like Thursday night was like a nice little test run. And so, you know, it was funny because like I was cleaning up from dinner, and the alarm went off on my phone about the tornado warning. And I, like I said, from Tornado like Alley. So like, I didn't even look at the fine print, which was like, it won't be in your area until this time. Like I was like, we are getting in the closet. So we got in the closet, we got our books, and this is what you should do. I think also that like people in Houston need to know like what you're supposed to do if there's a tornado.
Yeah.
Because we ignored it. Bri. I saw the warning come up, and I was like,
not gonna happen.
I know, you were like, we just kept driving, and I'm like, no, you don't know.
Yeah, I kept driving. I sure did. I was like, I called my husband. I was like, did you see it? He was like, I didn't see that. I saw a watch. I was like, perfect. Let's keep driving.
Okay, so for everybody listening, if there's a tornado and you're driving, if there's a tornado warning and you're driving, then you pull over and you get in a ditch. You either go to like a building where, you know, that's open, that you can get into a room without any windows or a bathroom, or you get into a ditch. So I was like telling this to my friends. I was like, I would climb down into the bayou if it was me. Like I'd be like, come on, boys, let's get in the bayou. Because tornadoes like can't cross that divide. So even if it's just a small ditch. But so it was funny because I had told them, I was like, we'll either get into the bathtub and pull one of y'all's mattresses over us, which would protect us from falling glass because there is a window in there, or we would get in y'all's closet. So we ended up getting in the closet, and you know, they were a little bit scared, but you know, we read our books, and I mean, I don't know, I lost cell service like really quick.
Yeah, we did. Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I was
self-service and power were the first things to go. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like we couldn't tell if there was power or not, but I mean, it like, I think it passed like right over us because like I heard the whistling that's really common in tornadoes. I mean, it was the derecho, I guess, which is like a really giant tornado, I guess is what actually hit right here. But I could hear something, and I was really afraid that like my entire like back of my house was gone. But thankfully I walked out, and it was hard because it was like the boys wanted to come out with me. My phone wasn't working. I didn't know what the storm status was. So my poor babies, I'm like, stay in the closet.
Yeah.
Like my 6-year-old is like a very good listener. My 4-year-old is just like, Mom, I want to come with you. And I'm like, no. And I'm like, stay inside. Anyways, so I got through to my mom, which my family, like I said, we grew up in Tornado Alley, so we're like, oh, whatever, like no big deal.
Yeah.
Like, she was totally like, but then I think she heard me walk out and like look out the window. I was like, oh shit. I mean, just like the photos and the damage, it's just like my whole patio it was completely crumpled underneath all these tree branches, and just water is like, I mean, we were really lucky, like you said, there was no just it's destruction to the roof or anything.
Yeah.
You need a new roof, but like there wasn't any water coming inside. But so then, we, like you said, we immediately lost power. So then trying to get the boys to stay inside, making sure it's like safe, the storm has passed, and doing that all like as a single mom was really hard and pretty scary. But I'm also like really good in a crisis because I have PTSD. So like my body's like, everything's a crisis. So when there's an actual crisis, I like thrive.
Yeah.
So I guess my fail would be that God, so much. It's just been crazy. But my win would be, I got the boys to sleep that night in my bed with no AC, no power, and then just really bonded like with the neighbors, like working together to kind of like help each other clean up and everything. So that was really nice.
Yeah. It was, I spent several years in Oklahoma, and I would sleep through some of the tornado alarms because I'm like, it's fine. And then once I had kids, it was like, oh no, it's not fine. We need to stop this. And it was, that storm was just shocking. Like I thought for sure all my life I had known tornadoes to be like, they aren't in the city. It's always like in the plains somewhere. And I'm like, what is happening? Like it was crazy. It was wild.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
But all things.
Yep.
We're all here.
Yes. Yay. So my tea this week, I don't really have a fail, but my win is that I had the opportunity to be part of a jury selection process. Yeah. So not jury duty, but like actually, okay, first of all, I creep people's social media on my own. So when I had the opportunity to creep people's social media to find like anything that was just like huge red flags, like very much like polarizing things, like very, very anti-abortion or very, very liberal or conservative, anything that was just like strictly one way or the other. I had to go through people's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and look for information that would kind of sway the lawyers to not want them on the jury for this particular case. And so it was really exciting. It was really fun. And I was like, you don't even have to pay me for this. I will do this for fun, but I did get paid. So whatever. But it was actually really fun. And I spent, it was an assignment that I had got through one of my jobs. It's like a friend of hers. And she's like, does anyone want to help out with this? And I was like, oh, yes. I love this. So it was a lot of fun. And like, I used to want to go to law school like so badly, and that was the plan. And then I also always wanted to do jury duty. Like it's still like, I'm when is it my turn? And then the one
I've
time
never been asked.
I've been asked once, and it was right as like my ex-husband and I separated, and I was like, I can't, like I have the kids, I'm trying to figure my life out, I don't have time for this. So I had to say no, but like I desperately want to do jury duty. And so being part of this process, I was like, well, this is close, it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And like the lawyers that I was working for, the case was basically about a guy who inherited a house from his mom when she passed away. He didn't have the money to renovate it, and he didn't have the credit to get a loan. So his boyfriend fronted the money to renovate. Well, then they have a falling out, and he's like, well, since I did all this, the house is mine, basically. So they were fighting over the house, and the boyfriend had taken the house. And so, the lawyers I was working for were for the guy whose house it was originally, and they won the case, which was really exciting. So it was fun. Finding that out, but it was just like a fun, different like change of pace. And I feel like if you're ever like given the opportunity to do something that's not really in your wheelhouse, but like just you can give it a shot, I say do it, because I had so much fun doing it. It was the best. It was a lot of fun. So that's my win for this week. It was just kind of exciting to do something different and like be nosy. I was like, oh well, on March 2nd, she said. I was like, I don't think she's a good fit, guys.
Let me tell you. So my ex-husband removed me as a follower on Instagram, which is fine, and made his profile private. But he's been really, really nice lately. And so I was like, I think he's dating someone.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't remove any of my friends or family from following him. So my sister goes and looks at his followers, and I was like, it's her. That's the one right there. And she's like, how do you know? And I was like, because I know everybody else. And she looks kind of similar to me, honestly, or how I looked, when I was, married.
Yeah.
And so sure enough, she has been watching my stories for the last couple of weeks, which is why I am here to tell y'all, if you're going to stalk someone, create a Finsta. Okay? Also, I know men don't listen to this podcast, but like these dudes too, like we can all see who you're following. So like also create a Finsta to follow all your OnlyFans girls, okay? Like
do it covertly, please.
You need a real Instagram account and then a fake Instagram account. And like my fake Instagram account is like, she's very lovely.
She is lovely. I still haven't created mine, and ours need to be friends. What is she up to?
I finished yours.
I didn't finish. Like, I forget why I didn't finish. Like, I was trying to figure something about like linking my phone number, or like if I wanted it, making sure it wasn't on my phone. I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah.
But
Don't link your phone number to it. Don't link your phone number to it, or friends can find you. Yeah.
These are some insider secrets, guys. Get a Finsta.
So if you love stalking people like I do, like most of us do, let's be honest, get a Instagram account. That way, so if you accidentally like a post from 3 years ago of someone who dated your, the guy you're dating now.
Yep.
Not that this has ever happened to me before.
Never. Of course not. Of course not.
And Tiffany, Ashley was like, how did you get that photo? I was like, I Googled old white woman, like old music white woman.
Yep.
It's perfect.
So funny. All right, let's roll into our cream and sugar. Bri, do you have something that you're loving in the Houston area that you think other people should check out?
Oh yeah, I mean, I go to restaurants and bars all the time for my job. So lately I have really been enjoying going to Ninfa's, and that they are one of my clients. I feel like I need to add that like disclaimer on there. But I've been going to the Uptown location. I love their chef. She is just an absolute delight. She's a mom. She is so kind, and she made all these wonderful dishes for the menu that are based on like her memories of growing up. It's just amazing food. So not gonna lie, before this I was like a big El Tiempo fan. Still love El Tiempo. But it's been really, it's always lovely when you find a place where like the food is amazing and then the people are also just really friendly and very kind. So
yeah. Ninfa's is getting a lot of free publicity from us because I mentioned them a couple episodes ago because when we went to for Cinco de Mayo. Yeah. So clearly you're welcome, Ninfa's. Like, hello. Tiffany, you said you don't have a cream and sugar, right?
I don't. I haven't been anywhere new.
Yeah. I mean, you've been dealing with like getting your family back in order after all that weather, so I get it. So my cream and sugar it's not necessarily a recommendation because it's good food. So let me say that. But it is it's a vibe and it's kind of fun. So it's also a Mexican place. Pancho's Mexican Buffet is okay.
That place still exists?
Yes, exactly. So my boyfriend was telling me about Pancho's and he's like, look, it was never great when I was a kid, but it was fun and it was an experience. And so he was like, I don't want to oversell it by any means. And okay, so we went and we took the boys and it was like a fun experience. It was just like funny watching them like pick what they wanted and then realizing it wasn't good food. Be like, all right, this is fine. It's edible. But it was like we had such a good time, like just being able to choose what you want and then like finding something that was pretty good and be like, okay, I'll take some more of that. The sopapillas were like the huge selling point. My boys don't know what sopapillas are. I didn't realize that they don't remember. I don't think they've had sopapillas since they were real little. So that was like the kicker. And once we got sopapillas, they're like, oh my God, this is my favorite place ever. And I'm like, okay, I'm not paying for this place again.
I was going to say, you have dug yourself a hole because now they're going to want to go to Pancho's all the time. Yeah.
We can order sopapillas from somewhere. I'm not going there and spending as much money as buffets are pricier, and for us to not eat very much because it wasn't that great. I'm not spending that again.
Do they still have the flag that you raised?
Yes.
Okay, that is honestly the best part of Pancho's.
Yes.
We need to have it every restaurant.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Awkwardly have to like try to catch your eye. I want
exactly.
A flag that I can raise. So the
exactly. Yeah. My boys were like fighting over whose turn it was to raise the flag. I'm like, okay, it's fun. I get it. But
I cannot take my children. I cannot take my children to Pancho's because they will have too much fun with that flag.
That's true. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. And, no shade to Pancho's. It's a fun experience and I'm glad we went. And the way my boyfriend was explaining it, he's like, this was like a staple when I was a kid. Like this was like a fun thing to look forward to. So I'm glad we did it. I if you're looking for just a fun experience, especially this summer, if you're just like, you need to get out of the house and do something, and maybe your kids will appreciate your home cooking a little more after you go. Mine did. They were like, Mom, your tacos are amazing. I was like, right? But it's fun. So I will definitely recommend it. It is a good time and the staff is super friendly there. We went to the location in Humble and they were super sweet and like just funny. And so we had a really good time. So yeah. Let's jump into if you have a Java jam for this week, something that you're listening to. It could be an album or just a song that you've had on repeat this last week. Share that with us. Tiffany, do you have one?
Yeah, so my girls, my daughter and her friends have been playing the song I Whip My Hair Back and Forth by WILLOW.
Yeah.
I think it's in their recital. So they're having their recital this week. But they've been playing that. And that used to be kind of like, I was in my 20s, I guess, or 30s maybe when it came out. But it was such a cute little song.
Yeah.
And every time I hear it, I was like, man, that was just, I love the beat. I love the lyrics. And like, if it's in their recital, I'm super excited.
Yeah.
If it's in their recital, I'm super excited. I think it is too.
That's so fun. I miss that song. That song was like such a hype song. It was like I was embarrassed by how much I liked it.
You know what? And I wasn't. I was like, this is such a cute song. Like there is zero wrong with this song. Like you tell me one wrong thing with this song, and I will argue you to the death about it. So yes,
oh my gosh.
Yes, it was poppy. Yes, it was like sugar gum. It was like, yeah, got it. But there's nothing fundamentally wrong with the song.
Not at all. Not at all. Bri, do you have a Java Jam this week?
So I am like every other basic person right now who's obsessed with Sabrina Carpenter's Espresso song. I read an article about her, about how they were like, she just like her like one-liners she puts together, like it, so many of them don't even make sense. Like this, that's that me espresso, and like I had to actually look up the lyrics because I'm old, and I was like, are we talking about Nespresso? Which honestly, Nespresso needs to like get on this and make it their like theme song. Yeah, Sabrina Carpenter and her Nonsense song. Do we sing that at karaoke? No, I sing that with another friend at karaoke.
Yeah.
Her Nonsense song is another one of my favorites. So like just like ridiculous. It is summer, time for ridiculous poppy music that just like makes you like dance and sing and isn't really saying anything. So
yeah. Love it. So I got myself a belated birthday / Mother's Day gift. I had like a little bit of money that I'd been saving away to make this big-ish purchase. But I bought a record player, and I've been wanting one for a while. And on my birthday this past year, I spent the day like going to thrift stores, and I found a couple stores that had a bunch of old records. And so I've been like building up my little collection without a record player yet. And so I finally got it. And the kids are like, they are learning so much about music. So I got like a Marvin Gaye anthology. I got like so I've been listening nonstop to Diana Ross and the Supremes because I got a record of that, and it has like every song, like every hit song. And the boys at first were like, we don't want to listen to this old people music. And I was like, get out of my house. But then they've gotten used to it, and they're like, this is kind of fun. And like, I'll see them kind of just like, right, like at the table for breakfast. They're just like, okay, I mean, it's kind of fun. But like, yeah, I have been just like having so much fun. I only have like 6 or 7 records right now, and most of them are really old. I did get like a Rick James record, which was like, this is fun.
Is it Rick James with Tina Marie?
There are a couple of songs with Tina Marie on it. Yeah. Yes. And then I found like one record for like $1 that was just like a bunch of big band music. And like, I just, every now and then I'm like in the mood for that. And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. So we were listening to that this morning, and I was like, this is nice. I like this. So I've just been like being real cool, listening to my record player. No big deal.
You're so cool.
Right?
That's super cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
The kids won't say I'm cool because I still wear ankle socks, but whatever. I do what I want, so it's fine.
I will always wear ankle socks.
Yes.
And I love that you're introducing your kids to like vintage music. Like I try to do that as well. Like introduce my kids to all different types of music.
Yeah.
I think it's just like an important part of
necessary.
Them like deciding what their taste is and everything.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, let's jump into our topic for this episode. We are going to talk money. So for starters, let's just discuss like how we relay to our children what money is, like how it works, where it comes from, all of that. So Tiffany, if you want to start us off, just kind of how are you introducing money to your kids?
So we were discussing this, and I told you we had not actually discussed it a lot at all. They didn't really, I don't even know if they really understood how work and money align to each other. And I was pretty sure of this a couple of weeks ago when my son was like, he's into something called Ninja Kids. And he came up with the plan to go to Puerto Rico at the end of the school year, which is like this week. And this was 2 weeks ago.
Big plans.
He was like, we need to go.
Right. I know. When's he out? Where's he staying?
So he's like, so we're going to go to Puerto Rico. And I was like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. We're going to see your auntie in July, and those tickets are purchased. Like, that's what we did.
He's manifesting. He's manifesting.
Oh, no, he is. So that's why this was a very timely topic, because I was like, okay, we need to start having the money conversation and like what it is. Because they kind of even thought they were even kind of like, oh, when you go to Amazon, those things don't cost real money. He's like, that doesn't cost money. I was like, oh, everything costs money, baby. Everything.
Literally.
Everything costs money. So we are like, this past probably like 5 weeks since you and I talked about it offline. I mean, we've really been trying to hone into it. So, and I hadn't really, again, the problem I have with money today is that we don't use cash.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very hard for them to conceptualize. Like, they have money. They have money from the Tooth Fairy.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what the thing they like the most about it is they get a note from the Tooth Fairy. And that's what they treasure the most. My mom didn't leave, my Tooth Fairy didn't leave no notes. They left money. So that's what I cared about. They barely knew how to count it at one point. They didn't even care. I was like, how much money did you get? They're like, I don't know. Like, what is this? So the problem is that cash is not used very often. So this is my project for the next months is to really have this conversation about work and money and how those things. I have implemented your idea, because he was trying to have a ball and a present and a trip to Puerto Rico and all this other stuff. And I was like, dude, you have met your quota.
Yeah. You are maxed out. Teach him that term.
Yes, you are maxed out.
Yep.
So he was able to count his money, figure out how much money he had. He bought something. He gave me the money, because that was very good advice. Mm-hmm. Very tactical too. Like, I found that to be a very tactical experience for them. So that's where we are.
Yeah. And what Tiffany is talking about, so I was telling her how with my kids, they always want to buy stuff, whether it's like V-Bucks or something on Amazon, like, can I go buy a Lego set or whatever? And they do get money here and there for doing things that are above and beyond. Now, I am not a fan of giving you an allowance, because that's the cost of you living here. Like, you're welcome. Go pick up dog poop. Like, what are we talking about? You live here, right? But when they go above and beyond, I do give them money. And so they have piggy banks. I'd made all of them piggy banks for Christmas one year out of mason jars. And so they have their piggy banks, and I'm like, you need to keep track of your money. So then when V-Bucks come around and they're like, I need 100 Mom, I need it so bad. I'm like, where's your money? And again, they don't see the money coming out like on the Wii or whatever. So I have them give me cash. I will put my card in, but I'm like, let's look at the total together. Let's look at how much is tax, and you owe me that much money. So they'll count it out. And this process sort of started when we were homeschooling. That's kind of how I introduced money to them, because it was just like, oh yeah, y'all don't see this, and it's hard to conceptualize where the money is. So they pay me back. Same with like Amazon. They pay me back, and then every now and then they'll ask things like, how much does stuff in our lives cost? And I've shown them the budget. They're like, well, how much is in your bank account? And I'm like, well, really, I don't have any money, because it's all going to this budget stuff. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's basically zero. It's all going right here.
Right.
So, but I do show them, and I'm like, this is how much my paycheck was. See how it was deposited in the bank account. There it is. Now look at all this stuff we have to do with that. That's where it's all going. Let's connect the dots. And they're starting to get it. I've had to force myself to use cash more often, because I want them to see it. So, I'll take out like $50 a week, and like, hey, this is our money to go do fun stuff. If y'all want to go out to eat, if you want to go to Chuck E. Cheese, whatever, and they'll see the cash. And, my ex-husband's very adamant about making it real that way. Like, we keep seeing ads for like those debit cards for kids and stuff. And I remember when my mom had a debit card, I was like, can we get this? And she's like, no, I don't have enough money. I'm like, swipe the card. Like, what do you mean? Like, I didn't know it was attached to something. I'm like, just go like this, Mom. It's not hard.
Honestly, sometimes I'm 36, and even me sometimes, I'm like, just swipe the card, Brianna.
And
Yep.
you know what? It's crazy. I don't even use our debit card because of all the scammers, you know?
Oh,
So
well, yeah.
I almost exclusively only use credit, which
Mm,
is
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's good credit score actually, like to use credit and then just
Yeah.
pay off.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so just like letting them have tangible money. Like I take cash out all the time just to have like a cash stash, just in case, like me being a type 6, just in case the world shuts down. Like, well, all y'all's money is in the bank, but I have cash so I can make something happen. And I do that partially, like I have lots of small bills purposefully so that if push comes to shove and I needed to do something, I could, but also to give people my kids money. And, you know, they see it and we're counting stuff out together. And I'm like, you owe me. Like sometimes they'll be like, we're at Target or something. And they're like, Mom, can I get this? And I'm like, did you bring money? And they're like, no, but listen, I'll pay you back and I'll round it up. And I'm like,
Nice.
you've got a deal.
That's right.
I'm like, all right, cool. But they're starting to understand, like, A, I can't have everything because Mom's not going to buy everything. So I have a responsibility. If there's something I want, I can save for it, which, you know, my middle child spent $100 on a Hatchimal because that's something he desperately wanted, saved up his money. That little Hatchimal has been under the bed for months. And I'm like, how do you feel about that now that you don't have $100 anymore? Like, how do you feel? Your Hatchimal's sitting there collecting dust. But there's a lesson being learned here. And as much as I was like, bro, it's $100. And their dad was very much like, no, this is a waste of money. It's stupid. And I was like, yeah, but he's going to understand, like, now I don't have $100. I bought this toy that I really wanted. I played with it for a week and now I don't have $100. So I'm like, just back off, let it happen, because he's going to figure out like, should have made a better choice.
Yeah.
So it's fun. And, you know, trying to get them to understand how to save, how to earn. Like they are constantly bartering. Like, hey, Mom, I was thinking it's a nice day. I could go cut the grass. I'm like, so you want money? Like, yes. But they do a good job. And I'm like, you know what? I have no problem, you know, throwing a couple bucks your way for that. So thank you. So Bri, do you talk about money with your kids at all, or do they understand the concept of money at this point?
Yeah, absolutely. So my youngest, he's turning 4. So it's still like pretty, I mean, it's, you know, not something he necessarily understands, but my 6-year-old recently wanted a Lego set. And so we're always talking about money. I think what's hard, and so anyway, so he saved up money and ended up buying it. It was funny though, because he was like a little short. And so I was like, no, you still need $30. And he was like, how can I get this money? Blah, blah, blah. Because most of his money was from like birthdays or Christmas. And so, because I don't like giving money either for like chores or anything. He's still too young to do those bigger chores that can't, you know, result in being paid. So I remember I was like, I will, like, I don't know how y'all are, but like I have 2 cats and one of them throws up all the time. So one day I just couldn't stand it anymore. I was like, I will pay you $5 if you clean up that cat's throw up. Like, I do not want it.
Yep.
Funny enough, my youngest got so upset because he wanted to clean up the cat's throw up. I wanted money just because they love to help out around the house.
Oh,
Wow.
So then anyways, and then another time, I was like, I will pay you like $10 if you help me like weed the, you know, the garden beds or whatever. Which was so funny to me because like he like barely was working and he was like, I'm so tired. And I was like, are you kidding me? I think my, and I'm sure a lot of moms deal with this too that are working. For me, it's amazing how like our kind of culture automatically assumes that like a woman's job is less important than a man's. And so, and this is always kind of like what my ex-husband thought as well. You know, like if there was an issue with the kids, I took care of it. You know, so he wouldn't take off of work, even if his work was more flexible. So I've been trying to reiterate to them since the divorce, like, no, I have to go to work. I have to make money. I pay for the mortgage. I pay for everything. And then just kind of like, so my 6-year-old's been asking a lot of questions like, how much is this? What about this? Blah, blah, blah. So, but for me, what is really difficult is walking that line between making them conscious of money and understanding the importance of like what we spend our money on. But then also like I have a lot of, I don't want to say guilt, but like stress around money because of how I was raised. So I was raised in a very, we didn't have money. And I was raised in a family where, and it still unfortunately is this way, where, I would be, they would tell us if we couldn't pay the bills. They would tell us if they, so like their money concerns, my parents' money concerns were our concerns. And it was just too young of an age to put that on us. Right. So I'm trying to walk that line between letting my 6-year-old know, or my children know, like, things cost money. Like, if you're going to break that, then like, you're not going to get another one, so that they also have some like they like feel a responsibility of like keeping things nice and everything. But then also I don't want them to feel guilty and be like, I don't know if mom's going to be able to pay the bills. I don't know if mom's gonna, so like that constant worry that I am still trying to overcome. But also too with like items as well. Like I'm the kind of person, when you said like you have cash you take out of the bank, I would totally do that, except for like I'm ADD, Pisces, Enneagram 4, so like your girl's losing all of it. Like I'm gonna put it somewhere and be like, this is the best spot ever for this. And then I'm gonna forget. I just want a $100 bill in my in one spot, and I was like, oh, totally forgot about this. It's like a joy when you come across it.
Right. Yes. Like I want that. I feel like it would like make my day, be like, I found money in my pocket. Like I always know exactly where my money is. And I don't know if that's a sign of just like, I don't have enough money.
Yeah. So
I think honestly, I pulled it out because of the storm. And I think just like everything that like I had been paying for, like because of the storm, like I just forgot it was in there.
Yeah.
But I am the person, like my sisters saved up. This is how old I am. My sisters saved up and got me like an iPod, like skinny, like those mini ones.
Yeah.
When I was like, in my 20s. And I still to this day feel horrible because I lost it. And I'm like, that was so much money. Like, I'm so irresponsible. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
So like if my kids break something and it was an accident, I'm like, I mean, even if, well, they don't usually break things on purpose. Maybe my 3-year-old in a moment of tantrum, but, if they break something on accident, especially if they tell me, I'm like, it's okay, it's just stuff. So it's like trying to walk that line between saying, yes, this costs money. Yes, mama needs to go to work. No, we can't buy everything in the entire world. Teaching him to save, teaching him, everything like that. But also letting him know, like he'll say something like one time he asked like if we were okay, like if we were going to be able to like pay for something. And I was like, we're fine financially.
Yeah.
Once again, I grew up really poor. I have like 7 backup plans just in case everything. I'm like, okay, if I become homeless, what can I do? You know what I mean? Like I have all that trauma, baby, is just like, and I know how to make money quickly and easily, which sounds sketchy, but it's not.
I'm like, really now? Is that right?
I am signed up for Uber Eats. I'm ready.
Me too. Yeah, it is a hard line to figure out, like making sure that your kids are involved in understanding of like, this house doesn't come for free. The food on the table is not free. It takes legitimate effort to make this happen. But then also, my middle son has asked me, like, I'll say like, hey, we're going to go do this today. And he's like, but are you sure we can afford that, Mom? And I'm like, first of all, I wouldn't offer it out there. It was like, man, this is rough. But I'm like, hey.
That was very irresponsible. Okay?
Right. Whatever. We don't need electricity. We're fine. But yeah, I'm like, hey, I need you to understand what things you need to worry about. And, I want them to be concerned when they are being reckless. I have them replace things like, hey, you made a choice to hit your punching bag with a screwdriver and now it's broken. Like, looks like you're replacing that. Or like my kids got drones for Christmas and they have all flown them into like the trees or whatever, and then the blades are messed up. And my middle was like, I really want another one. And I was like, I'm not buying another one. So he saved up his money to get another drone. And I'm like, I am all on board for that. Like, that's all I need. And, it's interesting watching them, learning what it means to earn some money and what that takes. Cause they're like, yeah, but I want $30 today. And I'm like, well, it's not going to happen today, but you'll get there eventually. So watching them figure out how to earn money, and then watching them start to understand how valuable it is because you've worked for it and you put in the time and energy to get it. And like, now it's like, ooh, I love this. And I love that I can buy what I want to buy. So now I'm going to protect what it is I bought. I'm like, okay, so the wheels are turning. We're good. Awesome.
Yeah, that is my son these days, because he is serious about this stuff that he wants to do and have. Mm-hmm. So he is, so the very first like big kind of chore or extra chore, this dude cleaned up. Like, I mean, I was like, I'll give you a couple dollars. This dude cleaned up, took stuff upstairs, heavy stuff upstairs. I was like, I'm about to give this dude like $5. Like, right. He kind of like took stuff off of my lap.
Yeah.
And so he did it. So then I will pay them to put up the dishes out of the dishwasher. So I'm like, okay, I'll give you $1 for every 2 times that you do it. So my son did it twice. And do you know this dude came stalking me for the money?
Yeah,
where's my money?
He was like, I came in, I told him I was gonna give him the money. He met me at the stairs, like, yo, I put the dishes up. I was like, oh, you want me to pay you now? He's like, yes, right. I do. I literally had to go in my purse and give him his money. I was like, I like that. He was keeping me accountable. I was like, okay.
They are little debt collectors. I've got notes under my door like, you still owe me $3. Like, first of all, I didn't forget. I went in my room to take a shower. I didn't forget, man. But it's like, a note is just waiting there under the door. Like, are you serious right now? You owe me lots of stuff.
Yes.
And the cool thing too about having multiple kids is that they start to see like, oh, my brother's piggy bank is full. I could do that too if I wanted to. Or I've watched them like collaborate and be like, hey, do you guys want to get a new Star Wars Lego set? Because we could all pitch in together and get one. And I love seeing that. Or like the ice cream truck will come by and one of them will be like, man, I used some money for this. Can I borrow some? And they're like, yeah, but I'm going to write it down and put it in my piggy bank. So I remember that you borrowed $3 for the ice cream truck. And I'm like, y'all sort it out. I love this. Like, it is working out so wonderfully so far.
I love the idea of piggy banks. Like, that's definitely something. Unfortunately, that means you need to get more. Ellen, I need to have cash on hand because my 6-year-old was like, "Where's my $5?" And I was like, I don't.
Can I sell you?
Yeah, right? Can you Venmo request me that?
Right. I love it.
To take $5 off your Lego purchase.
Right? Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And I also love seeing them do, go to the store with their own money and like hand it over. And then I will tell them like, don't tell him how much change you owe him. Let's figure it out. And if it's slower, like if it's dead at Target, cool. But if there's like a long line, be like, yeah, no, it's fine. I get it.
Is it ever dead at Target?
Sometimes sometimes, every now and then. But yeah, and so we work out the change, and I'm like, I love this experience for them. And even like when my mom would write checks when I was a kid, I really just thought it was a piece of paper that you were just like, yep, pay Target this much money and sign it. I never understood that it was connected to a bank account. And so even when I have to use cards for something, I will pull up my account on my phone and be like, look at that. See, minus 23.32. See how that reflects in my balance? See how that worked out? And they're like, oh yeah, I see. I was like, it's not coming out of thin air. Like, it's not just like, here you go. Like, no, it's literally taking money away from me. Do you see it now? And it seems to be clicking. So
yeah, my son told me this morning, because he is really trying to go on this Puerto Rico trip. I don't have
that is so big. That is like a big dream.
I told him it's at least 20. Like, I would cover the hotel if he could get the flights. And I said, it's like $2,400 for all 5 of us. Yeah. And he's like, bet. And so he's still talking about it. And I was like, babe, he's 7. But he when he plans something, he just believes it to be true. Like that was me. Yeah. Like, I could put something out there and I believed it to be true. Yeah. And so he was telling me this morning, and I said, man, $2,400 is a lot of money. Like, I don't even know how I would have enough money to give you $2,400.
Yeah.
So I would have to have $2,400 to give you. So he was just like, he's like, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this Puerto Rico trip. I was like, remember, it's like $2,400. He's like, he said, Mom, I know I can do it. I know I can get the money.
Oh my gosh.
Like, you know what?
I love his energy.
I don't know if it's gonna fall out the thin air. Like, for him, you know how kids are. God loves the children. So I would bet he could find $2,400 on the street at this point, because he is wishing that he is manifesting this trip.
I love that it's not even a trip for like far into the future. Like, one day I'd like to go. He's like, no, we're going when
he wants to go next week. He wants to go next week.
Oh my gosh.
He's like, he's like watching all the like travel hack, like airplanes.
Yeah. He is. I was like, dude. I'm not gonna tell him no.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love it.
But man, I'm like, because I have walked up on $20 before. But I feel like he could walk up with somebody's wallet and they're like, oh, sir, you were so good to find it. Let me give you everything in it. And it has like $3,000 in it. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen, but something's going to happen.
Call us when y'all are in Puerto Rico. And I'm like, oh, so it happened. Oh,
It happened.
My neighborhood, kids do a lot of, and I thought about doing this for my kids, and I was like, that's too much work. But they do like lemonade stand.
Yeah.
What I would like to do, and I've thought about this, is seeing like if the neighbors need help and would like pay them for something.
Yeah.
There's this really adorable older couple across the street, and my youngest is like the friendliest person in the world, and he just wanted to go say hi to them one time, and the woman was like, give him $1.
Oh.
And then like it was like my oldest was like, I want $1, and I was like, no. But then it was so funny, because then like a couple of days later, my youngest did it again, just went to go say hi. And I was like, yeah, we just came to say hi. My youngest isn't thinking like I'm making money by seeing these people.
Mm-hmm.
But I walked back over later and had $1 for each of them.
Aww.
Which is, I know, so sweet.
That's so cute.
But what I think I've been thinking about this a lot lately, just like with community and stuff, is like, you were like, hey, can we help? Like, can we do this or whatever? And I feel like so often we just like don't want to burden each other.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't ask, or we don't accept that help, or, and it can be something small, like, hey, he can, break your leaves for like $3 or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I think just like finding somebody who would accept that help, or, and I'm not saying like, if they can't afford it, that's totally fine. But I think sometimes we just like forget to like rely on our community.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Oh, it's so funny that you mentioned, your kids are like wanting to help people in the neighborhood. My oldest was like, can I mow yards for people? And I was like, well, yeah, you'd have to ask them. And he's like, oh, I have to ask? And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, I was just thinking I could just cut all the grass and then tell them they owe me money. I was like, no, you cannot do that.
You cannot do that. You cannot do that.
Oh my gosh.
I would not be mad, honestly. My friend the other day posted on her stories that a kid came up and asked if he could mow the lawn and like get paid or whatever. And so then she like posted a story and she was like, he's doing a horrible job. It's limited to raise. She was like, my poor yard. She's like, I have to give him this opportunity.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's funny.
But that's so cool though. It's so cool though
Yeah.
that they realize that he's not doing a good job.
Yeah.
But they have to give him, because that's part of the learning lesson, right? It's like, you didn't do a good job. I will still pay you
for your time
for your time. But she probably is, if the next time he comes around, she's going to be like, yeah, it wasn't that great. So he won't get it again. But that's the learning lesson, is that we have to give space for these kids to do stuff.
Yeah.
As opposed to trying to do this like helicopter thing where we're like, no, I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, I know for me, I, just got this house last year, but I had to like teach myself how to do lawn care. Like, I've done it before when I was a kid, but obviously not well.
Right.
I still don't do it that great because I don't care that much.
Exactly.
So but the other day, I guess our lawn, I finally did get a lawn guy after a couple of weeks ago when my neighbor was like, yeah, I thought you might like some help with that. Fine. $35 for the lawn guy every couple of weeks, but I guess sometimes he just doesn't come, which I didn't realize was like a thing. I need a new job, y'all. I need a new job where if I just don't show up, nobody cares.
Yeah. You and me both.
Oh yeah, he's probably out of the country. No big deal. Sure, he'll show up. Like, I'm hoping he shows up tomorrow. We'll see. But yeah, so I mean, just like, also it's like, oh yeah, I'd love for you to do it again, but let me show you how to like do this, or let me show you, because so often, like for me at least, I'm having to learn how to do things by myself, or at least remind myself to do things, because I'm the only person in charge of this house. So I'm watching YouTube videos and calling my dad and like FaceTiming, so and things aren't done perfectly, but the more I do it and the more I get like, tips from people, the better. Like I remember the first time I had to like weedy, like hedge. I was like, I hadn't done it like in 6 or 7 months. So the first time I did it, it took forever because there was just so much to go through. And it's all trial and error too, where it's just like, you're just like trying to like turn it around and like, I mean, it was hard. It was hard. Still like, I'm only paying the lawn guy because I don't mind mowing, but like hedging is horrible for me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's the same way with kids too. Like I remember one time my 6-year-old wanted to wash the dishes and he just sat there and washed till I was like, baby, that plate is clean. You have been washing it for 3 minutes.
I cannot stand my kids washing my dishes because they want to do it in ice cold water, number one.
Oh, yeah.
No.
And water gets everywhere. And I am like, no, like unload the dishwasher. This is your lane. Unloading the dishwasher. Put dishes up. This is your lane.
Yeah.
But Mom, I just want to wash dishes. No, you're not. You're not.
You don't do it right.
Yeah, you don't do it right. And I'm really particular about this. Like, because my mom was like, she really did not like dirty dishes. She wanted them cleaned a particular way. And if you cannot stand that water or particular heat, just get out the way.
Right.
So, so yeah, because even with my husband, like that was honestly one of our biggest arguments early in our marriage. He wanted to do it like on lukewarm water, on lukewarm heat. I was like, you're not even killing anything.
No.
No. You're like, your skin is still on your fingers. Like,
right. What are you cleaning?
Like, do you need gloves? It's too hot. Oh, well, that's what gloves are. Do you see these gloves? Like, you don't see me washing dishes in my bare hands. Like, get some gloves, dude.
I remember I was like living with some girls for a little bit one time, and there was this whole debate about whether or not they should use a wash rag or a sponge to wash the dishes.
Oh gosh, like that's another one. I gave up on that one.
Yeah, and so we had to use a wash rag because I grew up using wash rags. Me and my sister, I remember I was like 4 washing dishes with my sister. I would like rinse, would wash, but yeah, so it was just this whole thing where it's like, no, we cannot use a sponge. We have to use a wash rag. But I'm like you though, where everybody's particular about some things. So like, I have to make sure, I hate it when people just leave the sponge sitting in the bottom of the sink and it just doesn't dry.
Yes.
That's gross.
So bad.
Or don't get rid of them. Like they're not meant to last forever.
Yeah.
Like after about a week or so, like I am now even very, because I was bad about the wash rags. Mm-hmm. So every week I just I'm like, we have a washer. Why are we using this like it's the only wash rag? Mm-hmm. Don't like toss it and take it upstairs. It's not
yeah. Sometimes I run my sponge through the dishwasher. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Oh, so does that work? I mean, I've heard this done that. Not a bad thing. Okay.
I know. I said that, but then I was like, listeners, please don't take this for like wisdom. Cause I think it helps, but I'm not actually sure.
I've done it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a big researcher where I'm like, is this actually a thing?
I have heard it. I have heard it.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Yeah, I think it's really important to teach our kids to have, value how much effort it takes to make money, to make our lives, comfortable. I've also tried to teach them certain things about like, it's worth spending the extra dollar for quality a lot of times. So a lot of times they're like, this is cheaper, let's do this. And I'm like, yeah, but this one sucks and this one's great. I'm just going to spend that extra dollar because that's what I want. And they're starting to understand that like sometimes it makes sense to sacrifice that extra dollar. So I love that they're learning that. I show them the grocery bills. I'm like, back in my day, this only cost this much and gas only cost this much. Now look at me. And I'm like going into debt trying to feed y'all. So, it's really fun showing them that it costs a lot to have a family, to have a comfortable life, all of that. It doesn't come for free. And, I think it's really important as parents that we teach them that because it's hard out there and it's not just gonna come to you. Like my oldest, he was so confused that you can be born and not have a place to live. He's like, I feel like that's just kind of essential. Like you just have a house. I'm like, yeah, you would think so. He's like, so some people don't have food? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, that's just like the basics. I'm like, right. So, but when they see people who don't have, they start to realize like, it's not that simple. It's not that simple. You're just born and you have everything you need. It takes a lot of work. And so, it's been a big mission of mine to help them understand that.
And I think just the more that you talk about it, the more that you talk about it in concrete terms, like my daughter would want a whole thing of strawberries to eat 3 strawberries. No, we're not buying.
Oh no, ma'am.
I'm not buying $6 worth of strawberries for you to waste. And I don't really, I like strawberries, but I don't eat them that way. So once I said it enough, and once you even because again, the absence of cash, I think is like the biggest barrier for us. So I am going to start doing trying to at least carry, $50, $100 just so I can pay more in cash. But yeah, it helping them understand. And I will say that's one thing we don't do a lot in the house is waste food or waste a lot of things. But yeah, that waste thing is like
Yeah.
no good.
Yeah,
So,
that's definitely a big
talking about
one.
that,
Yeah, because they don't get it. I'm like,
they
you're
don't.
throwing my money in the trash.
Oh,
And so
in the trash.
we made like a bin in the fridge that when something is being wasted, like, oh, you didn't finish your lunch or whatever. Most of the time, if it's safe for our dogs, I'm like, well, put it in the bin. You can give it to the dogs when they're like as treats or whatever. But I'm like, yeah, I don't waste food. Like this is a thing. We waste nothing.
Yeah.
I am putting stuff in the freezer like, oh, I know this isn't going to get eaten while the boys are here. I'll pop it in the freezer and I'll eat it when they're at their dad's house. Cause I'm like, oh no,
Mhm.
groceries cost way too much. Like it almost costs the same amount to go to the grocery store as it does to eat out. I'm like,
Yeah, it does.
this
It
is
does.
crazy. And so, yeah, I am very serious. Ever since
Yes.
becoming a single mom, I'm like, listen, we got to make this last.
Yes.
Well, awesome. Yeah. So, if you come up with any other tips to teaching your children more about money, we can certainly share those as we go along with the podcast, because I feel like all of us are just trying to figure out how best to do it. And we're all like, there's not enough time in the day to like make sure we're teaching all these lessons. And it's just like, it's a lot. So we will continue to share as we go along. And of course, for our audience, if you have any tips that we don't know about, please share those, because we're just trying to figure it out.
Absolutely.
We don't have all the answers. Let's go ahead and jump into our caffeinated confessions. Does anyone have a confession this week? Bri, I'm looking directly at you to see if you have anything to share, because I feel like Tiffany and I have both shared some fun ones and you haven't been with us. So if there's anything.
I feel like with like online dating and just like being in the dating world and everything, I just I got a massage yesterday, and like the guy's like massaging me and I was like, oh my God, it's so nice to be touched. I was just like, am I falling in love with this man, or am I really
You're like face down and he's like, what?
Yeah. I'm like, do you want to go get a drink after this? And,
Oh my
I'm not
gosh.
obviously being like inappropriate. Like, this man is working. Like, but after that, I mean,
Oh my God.
I was just like laying there, like, and I was just like, oh my God, I guess it's time to get a boyfriend. I think, unfortunately, like, if I'm going to massages and being like, oh, I think I might be in love with this man because he's being so gentle and kind to me. It's time to get a boyfriend. So I downloaded Bumble. And I will very likely delete it again though, because like,
Because it's crap.
it's just trash. It's just and it's so funny because I've been on and off the apps for a year and a half now, and you just see the same guys.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And so yeah, I'm looking for. Have you guys seen that like meme that's going around about the girl who's like, I'm looking for a boyfriend, 6'5" in finance, like. So I'm looking for a boyfriend, 5'10" or higher, kind, would be like, has a good job because, I have a good job. If he has or knows anybody who has a truck, that would be great because I got some stuff I need help out. If
Oh my God.
knows somebody who's like good with electrical, that would also be great. I got some plugs that need to be switched out. But yeah, applications.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Bri's confession, everyone.
My confession is I went to a massage and I miss being touched. Apparently.
Yes. That's
Oh
a
my
good
God.
one. That's a
I
good one. I love it. Yeah,
Oh, that's good. That's a good one.
good one.
All right. Well, that is our confession for today. I love it.
So
Oh
sad.
God, that's so funny.
Yes.
Okay. Anywho, Houston Moms House Blends. Do we have any posts that we are loving on the site this week?
Yeah. So I will give a shout out to It's called, oh goodness, come on. It's called Supporting Your Loved Ones Through Infertility. I really like this post. It was by Lindsay Garrett. And, for women, for our listeners out there who have ever been through infertility, I have. And around this time of year, it's kind of like, I always kind of get sentimental because I was one of those people who realized that I was about to enter the infertility journey around this time of year, years ago. And it is just really, I think, and she gives some really good tips about like what to say and how to engage and how to support your friends and family through this moment. Like I had some really crappy things said to me as like when I couldn't get pregnant. Like maybe it's your diet or maybe it's this and like maybe you need to do that.
Did anyone say like it's all part of the plan, everything that happens for a reason?
Yeah, like my mother-in-law like oh, we're just and I was just like, you telling other people about this? Like I just like I don't want like I don't want this, like because I didn't even know. There's a part of you, and again, I was a mature woman at the time, so I very much understood that, like, if this is not meant to happen, then it won't happen, and I could be okay with that. So I just, I didn't want a lot of people, like, in the business of, like, us getting pregnant. So, yeah, it was, like, just having a lot of care, and if you don't know what to say, then just kind of don't say nothing. Like, it's just not your business anyway. And I happen to have a friend they had been through their infertility journey a lot longer, and we ended up getting pregnant at the same time. So I was able to bond with her as we were trying to go through this process. So yeah, it's really important to be caring and sensitive. And again, if you just don't know what to say, then it's best probably not to say anything at all, because it is such a personal experience.
Bri, do you have a house blend for this week?
Yeah, I just took the boys to the zoo on Mother's Day, and I think we're gonna get a zoo pass. There's just so much to do there. It's not far from the house. So the pro tips for having a great day at the Houston Zoo is really helpful because it's a really big zoo.
Yeah.
I mean, I had been there once before, so then just going the second time. Thankfully, I was with a friend who had a pass, so they knew the area really well. But it was pretty overwhelming, like trying to figure out where to go and everything. And I'm one of those, when I go to like a theme park, if you go to a theme park with me, I will have a plan. From A to B, like I know the best routes, I know where we're gonna eat, like I have it all down. So like the fact that this post exists so that I can hack the zoo is
awesome. Yes, for sure. So my house blend this week is 12 summer reading programs around Houston. I am constantly looking for more incentives to encourage my children to keep reading. And this summer, especially, like last summer, I was terrified. It was my first summer with the kids where I was working as much as I was. And I was just like, oh God, how do we do this? And we did a lot of summer reading programs, and they were just like making their little lists. Like I did this book and I did this one and I read this one again. And I loved that they were so into it. They love to read anyway, but if there's like a chance where they get like a trophy or something to commemorate the fact that they did a good job, my kids are like, yep, love it. So I'm getting them involved in as many summer reading programs this year as possible to take up some of our time for these long summer days that I'm so excited about.
We're all excited. Let's say it out loud. We're excited.
We're so excited. It's
98 degrees today.
Right. It just makes me anxious just thinking about like, you guys need me for stuff, but I have to work, and you're going to be here in my quiet space where I work, but you're going to need stuff. Like, and every year it turns out fine. Like we make it just fine. We always have like a schedule and we make memories. We have fun. But for some reason, it's always just like, here we go, guys. Let's go. It's game time. Every episode we wrap up with a see you later caffeinator, and a lot of times that's just like some fun fact that has to do with the topic of the episode or a stat or something. But I found this information talking about money. So I did not know that pennies are actually really expensive to make. A single penny in the US costs about 2.4 cents to make. And the loss in this money is one of the big reasons why people have lobbied to discontinue pennies. I had no idea. And I also knew that they used to be made of copper. Like you could, we did an experiment when I was a kid where you like filed down the edges and then you put it in some kind of acid and it would break down the inside because the inside wasn't made of copper, but it would break it down and then you'd have like a little copper shell. And like that was all because it was cheaper to make it that way. But apparently it still costs 2.4 cents to make a penny. So yeah, I feel like Congress, this is where some of our debt is coming from. Stop making pennies. We can, y'all are so worried about me paying my taxes. Get finished with the pennies. Yes. Maybe we can lower the national debt. There's an idea. Ashley for president. Thank you very much.
The hotly contested race, Ashley's jumps ahead.
Yes, I win. Thank you. All right, everyone. So that's our episode for today. Thank you so much for joining the Cold Coffee Club. I'm so happy that we've had all three of us on today's episode to, share our own fun perspectives. So yay. And of course, everyone, please like, subscribe, and follow us on social media and on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all of that. And we will see you next week.
See you later.
Bye, everybody.
You've been listening to the Cold Coffee Club, brought to you by Houston Moms. We wish you a fabulous week with your families and look forward to sharing many more cups of cold coffee with you.